Okay, and welcome back. Welcome back to more Ignorance in Basketball. It's been a little bit of a while. It's been kind of hard to make these videos while I'm traveling and shit. And this laptop fucking sucks, and I hate editing on it. So I haven't been putting out as many videos as I would like, but all I can do is get better. And you know who gives a shit about excuses? Nobody. Fucking nobody. So let's get into this video. Really, I'm just going to be talking about some things I noticed over the last two Nuggets games, two losses, which makes my stomach hurt a little bit. But when I think about it, you know, usually after a loss, or not even usually, every time after a loss, I'm in a worse mood than I was before watching the game. Some might say I'm upset. Some might say I'm pissed the fuck off. But these games, you know, I'm not going to say I don't care, because I definitely cared, but I wasn't really that bothered by the losses. And I don't think you should be either, even though I hope you still aren't, because it's been like 3 days. But let me explain what I saw. First off, let's talk about the first game against the Nuggets. First off, I was looking for Ayton to see if he was going to keep up this fucking streak he's been on of not playing like a bitch, being one of the best centers in the league, which I said at the beginning he has the potential to have, and he stayed consistent this game and the game after that. So big ups to him. He's been playing great ever since that video that I made where I said should we trade him. He's literally been playing excellent every game after that. Now I'm not going to take 100% of the credit, 55, 60 at the most, because what other explanation could you name? You don't have one. So for now, we're just going to go with that. So, you know, and you can't prove me that I'm wrong because you don't have sources, dude. You don't have any math. You don't have any science. You have no magic to back you up. So you just have to go by, you know, what I say, because you can't prove me wrong. Only DeAndre Ayton can prove me wrong, and he has yet to do that. So we're going to go with that. So, okay, but on a serious note, big ups to him. He's really been playing great. And I forget that this guy's only 22 and he's playing fucking excellent. So shout out to him. And again, the starters actually looked well. I know we've talked about it on this channel a decent amount. Like every fucking game, the starters come out horrible, and I don't know why. And it's up to fucking Cameron Payne to save the day every game. But these past couple games, the starters have actually looked how they should look. So it's good that things are coming together. I mean, like Chris Paul had 15 assists in the first half, or 14 assists. Booker was doing his thing with scoring. Fucking Bridges was like 5 for 5 from 3. And I don't have any stats in front of me, people. This is all off the top because I'm not a fucking nerd. All right? This is just passion. And that's why it's called ignorance in basketball, not math and fucking statistics or whatever. This is what was in my head while I was watching the game, because I was like, damn, every fucking starter on this team is like having the best first half of their career. I mean, you know, not literally, but like Chris Paul has like fucking 20 assists. Ayton's doing his thing. He's playing really fucking well. Mikal Bridges is like 5 for 5 from 3. He hasn't missed. And I was like, and they're only up by 12. And it's not like the Nuggets are playing amazing. And that was in the back of my head. And I was like, this probably isn't going to end well, because they're not going to keep that up. I mean, I love this fucking team, but Ayton isn't going to go 10 for 10 from 3. It's like, it's probably not going to happen. You know, you guys watch basketball. Usually when a team starts off hot, they don't end hot. That's very rare. So I was a little worried. And yeah, they lost. And really, I think the only reason that they lost was those turnovers in the fourth. Now, usually, I mean, it went to overtime, and obviously Devin Booker went out, and that hurt a lot. But let's be real, this game shouldn't have even gone to overtime. The only reason it did, like I said, is because they had fucking 10 turnovers in the fourth quarter, which is bad. But, okay, I'm trying to be positive. So, at least, like I said, everything I'm looking for, every game I'm looking for habits. So at least we're seeing the starters starting to play well, and Ayton is starting to be the dominant player that he has always had the ability to be. He's starting to look like that guy consistently. So I was like, all right. So in my head, I took this game as like, okay, so they lost. It was a close game against a really good team. and their best player got hurt at like the worst time. So I wasn't really that mad at that. The only thing that really bothered me was the turnovers, but like, look, this team has had an issue with turnovers throughout the season, and they still got to figure a lot of shit out. So I kind of like X that game, and I was like, whatever, you know. They'll play again tomorrow, hopefully with Booker. Little did I know they didn't fucking have him. You know, I kind of assumed since he was out, but I was like, that he wasn't going to play, but I was like, well, maybe since he didn't go to the locker room, it wasn't that serious. But we still don't know exactly how serious it is, so I don't know. But, well, obviously he didn't fucking play in the second game, so let's talk about the second game. Ayton started off amazing again. The thing I noticed on the negative side is I felt like Cameron Payne hasn't been as aggressive since he came back from his injury. What do you guys think? Because I really do think he's vital to the bench. He's one of the few guys that has the ball in his hands a lot that I feel good about, like, driving to the paint. And I don't think he's going to, like, leave his feet too soon and turn the ball over or just get fucking blocked. Because I feel like when you're a point guard, you really need that. I think Chris Paul's one of the few point guards that doesn't drive that much, that can still run an offense well. Especially if you're a young dude like Cameron Payne, I feel like that's vital. And I know it was like a lower body injury, so he may not feel, you know, as comfortable like exploding and all that stuff, but that is something that I've noticed. I feel like he's been a little bit more passive. I feel like he kind of just dribbles the ball up the court and just tries to give it to Booker instead of looking for a shot that much, or at least to drive that much. So I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. I'm not, but let me I'm kidding. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys have noticed that too. So yeah, so I noticed when Cameron Payne went into the game, they lost the lead, and then Chris Paul came back and got it back. And I was proud of this team because I was like, you know, Devin Booker's not even playing and you're fighting against a healthy Nuggets team. And I know their record doesn't show it, but let's be real, they're going to get back to being one of the best teams in the league. So I think they were playing like one. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. was playing fucking well. This was the first time they had him back all season, and he looked fucking good. So I feel like we played the Nuggets at the worst time when they got one of their best players back. And the Suns didn't have their best player. So it was shitty and it was unlucky, and I was proud that they were battling the way that they did. Because, I mean, come on, dude. It's a back-to-back. Your fucking starting point guard is 45 years old. He's my guy, but he's old. And he had to play a lot of minutes. Cameron Payne wasn't playing great. And it's not like, you know, fucking Cameron Johnson just hit like 6 threes or, you know, like something crazy had happened. Everyone was just kind of playing like average. So it was tough. It was a tough game. Also, I was thinking about Galloway's minutes and how come he hasn't really been playing. I thought that was kind of interesting. I can't remember if he actually played him a little bit, but I remember that was something on my mind. I'm like, what? Like, well, how come Galloway hasn't played in like 4 games? I get that they're adding Nader to the lineup, but like, this man scored fucking 17 points in like 3 minutes. Put him in the goddamn game if you don't have Booker. What are you doing? What are you doing? Especially if Cameron Payne isn't doing shit. And really, they almost fucking won. So, Cameron, I mean, let's talk about the fucking Jamal Murray shot that he made over Ayton. Straight bullshit. First off, it was a travel. Sorry, Nuggets fans, but it was. That's just reality. It was a travel, and it was lucky. And if he didn't make it, the Suns would have won. And, oh yeah, and then fucking to send it to... And then Nader has a chance. I think they're down by 2. He gets fouled on a 3 and makes 1 out of 3 free throws. You know who wouldn't have done that? Galloway. I'm just saying Galloway would have made at least 2 out of 3. Shout out to Crowder, though, for hitting that fucking clutch-ass 3 to bring it back to double overtime. But, I mean, look, Ayton fouled out, and then Cameron Johnson gets injured, like, at the worst time. So I was like... As soon as they went into double overtime, I'm like, there's no chance. And then you could just see the Nuggets just kind of went away with the lead, and I was like, fuck, here we go. So, really, when you look at these 2 back-to-back losses to the Nuggets, I really don't think either of them really count. Because the first one counts more because of the 10 turnovers, but, I mean, you lost Booker at the worst time. So, I mean, like, it's kind of a wash. And then the second one, you don't have your best player. Fucking Jamal Murray hits an extremely, I don't want to say lucky because I'm not trying to shit on the guy, but lucky shot, which was a travel. Sorry, Nuggets fans, again. I don't give a fuck. Why are you even watching this? This is not for you. Go watch some Nugget shit. I'm sure it's out there. I don't know because I don't watch it, because I don't like your team. I don't dislike your team, but they're not my team. And if every other team that's not my team, it's fuck you energy. That's just what it is. That's what sports is. Don't get sensitive like these Clipper fans out here. They're soft. Trust me. I've seen them up close and in person many a time. So, I mean, I think it was just a mix of bad luck for the fucking Suns as far as injuries. And, the Suns hit some tough shots. So, I wouldn't really worry about it. I mean, if I was a Nuggets fan, I would be afraid of the Suns. Because I was like, damn, they lost crucial players in both games. And both games went to overtime. And we hit some very lucky shots. I wouldn't want to see them in the playoffs. That's what I would be thinking if I was a Nuggets fan. So as Suns fans, I really don't think we should be too worried about these losses. Again, we have to remember this team is fucking new as shit. They got a lot of things they got to work on. I think it's going to take like damn near 30 games for them to... Honestly, I don't think they're really going to have it fully together for like maybe even 40, 50 games. Because as a Chris Paul fan, trust me, I know Chris Paul has not had one good game yet. Not really. At least scoring-wise. He hasn't even played well all season. Booker hasn't been like himself all season. I still think they're still trying to figure a lot of things out, especially offensively. So I would take these as wins. And I know that's kind of weird, but really, you battled with one of the best teams in the West. You had extremely unlucky injuries, and your team is still really trying to figure things out, and it was a back-to-back, and your team is kind of old. So, well, I mean, Chris Paul is old at least, and Crowder's, he's not old, but he's not young. So, I would take these two losses as wins for us because it's ring season over here, and I saw a lot of positive things. The biggest thing was Ayton's play. The fact that he's been able to keep this consistent for like these however many games, five games or so, has been huge. So, I mean, he was great offensively and defensively in every game I've seen since I made that video bitching about him. So, I mean, if anything, we could take that as a huge win because if he's playing well, the fear of this team being a jump shooting team only is gone. With like Booker being able to drive, Chris Paul being able to drive in the playoffs, Cameron Payne being able to drive once he gets back. Hopefully he'll be able to do that shit again. And then Ayton just being able to dominate in the post. I mean, he was actually posting up smaller players. He was like legit posting them up, not doing some fadeaway jump shot shit, like really like backing them down, baby hook shit. Like I said in the other video, he was doing that. Anytime he had Paul Millsap, he's like, get your little ass out of here. You're too small. You can't handle it. Sorry. And he scored on him. And I was like, that's what I've been waiting to see all fucking season. And the fact that we're seeing that is huge. Because who's really going to be able to guard Ayton in the playoffs? Like, well, in the post? Fucking nobody? Who can guard Ayton everywhere? And he's shooting threes now? Well, it's a fucking wrap. It's a fucking wrap. So, I mean, the only person I could think of is Anthony Davis, but even in the post, he's not going to be able to handle him that well. That's the thing I was worried about, because if Ayton's just going to shoot fucking jump shots over AD, that's going to be tough. Because I think AD is longer than him post. So, but if he's actually going to be able to back people down, it's like AD's going to have to hit that weight room. So, that was huge. The Nuggets, you're a good team, but it's still fuck you energy. I'm sorry. And for us Suns fans, again, I think I saw a lot of good things. The losses hurt a little bit, but at the end of the day, there was more positives than negatives, and this team has a lot to figure out still. So I think we should take it as wins. And I'm gonna end it here because I've repeated myself like 7 times, like an old man reading a newspaper. And